Hey everybody, this is Ashley with Publish with Ashley, and I am again live on Wednesday at noon Eastern Time. It's -5 GMT, and I am here today to talk about free ways to advertise your KDP books. I know I had some questions about this, and I thought of 10 free ways. There's actually probably more than that, but I kind of kept it to 10 so I wouldn't go on forever in this. I guess the next thing is make sure basically, if you haven't been to my channel before, welcome. I talk about Kindle Direct Publishing and publishing low content books. And I've done publishing fiction in the past. So you have questions on that. And I also do printables on Etsy. So that's kind of what I do. So like and subscribe to my channel, please. That would be great. I'm trying to get my YouTube views up so my kids think I'm cool. And all right, so we're going to talk about free ways to advertise your KDP book. Hey, Mike, I know you wanted to do this one. Okay, so let me share my screen. I made PowerPoint slides because it keeps me organized. All right, so can you tell that I've done a lot with PowerPoint in my life? Because I like PowerPoint slides. Okay, so free ways to advertise your KDP book. So I was sitting down and brainstorming a bunch of ways to do that. All right, I gotta click enter. There we go. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to preface this with was the realities and kind of must do. Okay, so the realities of free marketing and advertising is that it takes time and effort. Okay, it means free as far as cost, but there is a cost for your time. And not to say that these aren't effective, and some are actually probably more effective than complex advertising methods. But they do take up your time, and they do require time, thought, and research. Research. Okay, blasting out a bunch of where your books are free all over the darn place is not going to get you much for the effort you put in. All right, so the first thing you need to do for any type of advertising, whether this is paid or free, you have to understand your audience. So know your target audience. I cannot stress knowing your target audience enough. I think when you actually research and do and create the books is when you should start this researching your audience, because the more you know about your audience, the more you know about their likes, their dislikes, and what they want and where they shop and where they hang out on social media. Once you know that, you are going to create a better product. I know a lot of people want to skip this step and just make a bunch of stuff and send it out to the world and hope it sticks. And you can do that. It is your business and your ideas. But I think spending the time trying to figure out where people research it or where people shop, what they buy, why they buy it, and what your audience is and what they're about and what they like and dislike is just going to help you for everything, but especially for marketing. Okay, so you need to know where they hang out on social media. I'm going to give you a lot of different social media and different ways, but if you don't understand your target audience, there is no way you're going to connect with them, right? If they are Pinterest users and love Pinterest and you're out on Facebook, you're missing them, right? So you're advertising on Facebook you're making a group and they're not there. They're hanging out on Pinterest. Where they are hanging out, each social media. And as we go through these, I could almost do insight into every single one of these. And maybe I will start doing some of the insight into the bigger ones to look, how do you find your audience? How do you get those numbers? How do you delve into the platforms? But there's a lot of YouTube videos out there, so I'm not the only one. You can definitely, if you kind of figure out what you think your audience is, you can look and research, do research into how to research those particular markets. But you need to know what your target, where are they on social media? What do they buy? Why do they buy it, right? What convinces your audience to purchase something? I was looking at a bunch of books on Amazon the other day, and it was just, I want to say spam. I'm sorry. It was like the same cover over and over again with different colors and maybe a word changed and all this stuff. And it was like, why would I buy that? I couldn't understand as a buyer why I would purchase that. And it's not that I'm saying that it's not my style. I get that people have different styles, but like there was nothing about it that said, hi, I need that, I must buy it. So you've got to create something that people would want to buy. Putting a bunch of stuff out there is not going to get anyone to buy it. Okay, so what is their pain point? Why would they buy your product? What problem do they have that your book will solve for them? It could be as simple as they need a gag gift for a coworker, and that's fine. But they understand that audience. You're talking about, business professionals, and so it's got to have a certain either humor, right? If they're looking for a gag gift humor, or a certain professionalism look, or maybe a niche market that nobody ever talks about. I don't know, some really obscure person who works in the sanitation department who has this randomly specific job. If nobody ever talks about it, maybe that's a very tiny niche, but there might be a market for that. You must understand with your customer, and you must understand what they do and where they are, or they will not part with their money. Everyone just thinks if I put it out there, someone will give me money for it. I'm sorry to say it's not how it works. Okay. All right, so with those caveats, let me get to my top 10, and I will go through them all really quickly, just in case you just want to know these. And then I'm going to go through each one with some specifics. Okay, so YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook, TikTok, create a short ebook and make it free, Instagram, influencers and cross promotion, press releases, blogs, your own Facebook group. Or there are some Facebook groups out there that are dedicated to kind of spamming the market. But honestly, I think it's just a bunch of authors spamming each other. So I'm not sure that's worth your time. But your own Facebook group if you're in a niche. Okay, so let's go through each of those. YouTube. Now, each of these are going to work differently for your target audience and your particular product. YouTube is going to work best for you if you have something that kind of has a process to it. So let's say you have, I actually saw, she does this on YouTube and Pinterest. YouTube and TikTok. She actually has a digital planner she sells on Etsy. And what she does is every day she fills out the planner and fills it out and shows how she fills it out and how she organizes her day. And she films it and then she fast forwards it so it's quick instead of watching someone write slowly. And then she puts that video on TikTok and she puts that video on YouTube every single day. And so she has a huge following, and her Etsy store is doing really, really well because people want to know how to use their planner more effectively. So that's kind of her target audience. She's trying to target people who are into digital planners who want to use it more effectively. So she shows how she effectively uses her planner. And then, at the bottom says, do you want to get your own digital planner? And she markets to them. So that's a great way. If you have a process or something you can show, or a technique or something like that, then you can market on YouTube and do something like that. So that's just an idea. There's a ton of other ideas out there, but that's one that I know of and I've seen used effectively. Pinterest will probably work for anything. It does help if you have kind of a brand, or it's going to help if you have a brand. Pinterest is most effective if you have a brand that you're going to center that business around. And I've kind of talked about Pinterest in the past. I actually was doing some pins last night for mine and building up my brand awareness. And I went from zero people, 0 views to 16,000 views this month. And I can't remember my clicks, but I had quite a few clicks directly to my products. I know it's working, right? I know that you can go from 0 to nothing. From 0 to 16K is pretty good in a month. And that's me not doing a fantastic job of my Pinterest account yet, but it is definitely a way to market. I have a playlist on Pinterest on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out and check those videos out. I plan on adding some more because I know some people were asking me, how do you set up your account to get views? And now that I've been doing this a little bit longer, I kind of understand what I'm doing better. So I'm going to add some videos to that playlist. Okay, so Facebook. Facebook is a fantastic way, and I have your own Facebook group. So you could, and I have Facebook in, look at Facebook and the groups that correlate with your niche. So you can search Facebook for, if you're on my Facebook group, which please sign up for my Facebook group, Published with Ashley. There's a link in the show notes. You're going to see that there's, you've searched for Facebook groups in the search bar. So search for Facebook groups that are in your niche and join them. Don't join them to market necessarily to them, but join them to start listening to see what your target market is interested in. And then once you've kind of participated and, been in that group for a while, those groups, you can, approach maybe the Facebook group owner and say, hey, I'd like to give your Facebook group a free PDF of my book, right? Because I know everyone's like, well, I don't want to give them a free copy, hard copy, but you could give a free PDF of your book to the group and say that they could give it out to, you give them 2 copies to give out, or you give them the PDF and say you can give away 2 copies to your fans, to the people in the group. And that promotes and then you can say, if you just want to offer something to them, and then that way that they could get something for their group, and then you also get a little bit of publicity for your product as well. This can work really well. I know it's kind of time consuming, but it is actually very, very effective to get some kind of brand awareness out if you really work and participate in these groups. It is kind of slow and it takes time, but it does work. TikTok, I kind of talked about that with Facebook. TikTok works best if it's something you can show visually, like show a process. Like I talked about the planner. She filled out her planner. Or there's techniques or something that can kind of go around the book. That's why I like not just low content, like no content books. I like the low content books because you can talk about or show things that are related to that topic or that niche that same target audience would be interested in, right? If you know your target audience, you know their likes and dislikes, and you can show and create videos around that topic, that area, so that you can promote your products. Hey, Mike, you're still at work. Okay. Well, thanks for coming. All right. So the next one, okay, so this one does take time and effort, but it does work. This is a huge thing in the fiction market or even nonfiction too. You create a short ebook and you make it free. So what a lot of, if you follow any sort of ebooks or anything, if you've fiction authors, you've probably seen that their first prequel or something like that is free. And then the rest of the series you have to pay for. So you can create maybe like a short book that describes how to use their planner or tips and tricks on how to use whatever, low content you have. Or let's say it's a stress coloring book. So you have a whole coloring books about, meditation and stress and anti-anxiety, things like that. So you can write some tips and tricks about, anti-anxiety or other methods or, journals with journal prompts. You can say, hey, here's 100 journal prompts for you to put in your on the blank page in my coloring journal or something like that, right? You come up with something creative, and yes, you actually have to write some words, but you can create that book and you make it free. It is a little bit of a process to make it free on Amazon. The technique has been you put it for 99 cents. And if you're in Kindle Unlimited, the Kindle Select program, you can actually make it free for 5 days every 90 days. But you can make it perma-free by making it free on another platform. So I published mine through Draft 2 Digital with the Draft 2 Digital. And then I make it free on like Barnes & Noble and the other places. And then you can email Amazon and say, hey, can you price match my book to Barnes & Noble? See, it's free. And you give them the link and say, hey, it's free here on Barnes & Noble. Can you price match it? And eventually they'll set it free. Sometimes it takes a few tries, and sometimes you have to have a friend email and say, hey, I found this book on Barnes & Noble for free. Can you price match it? And they'll eventually set it for free. But it is a little bit of process, but you can do it. And it's a great way because you can refer and put links to your other books, your paperback, low content books in that free book. And so you're getting kind of all that nice promotion. And you want to put those links in the back of the book and not the front, because that's one of the TOSs with the Kindle books, with the ebooks. You want to have the links in the back. Instagram. Instagram is, I am not an Instagram expert, but Instagram is a fantastic way to find your people, find the hashtags that apply to you, and take pictures of your book or the inside of your book. And you don't even need to get an actual physical book. You could, set up the pretty backdrops and, take screenshots of your pages and put them in the book or something. Or create videos, that sort of thing. Flip through videos, you can do that. So Instagram is a fabulous way. Influencers and cross promotion. This is a really good one. So if you can find influencers within your niche and do some sort of, that's why I say cross promotion. Sometimes you can trade, right? You say, I'll give my audience some of, free PDFs if you give your audience. So you can talk to influencers. Some influencers going to want to charge you. So this, I guess, technically won't necessarily be free, but that's not always the case. Some influencers, if it's a very small niche, so don't go talk to the big, huge people, but people with small audiences want to find great products for their audience as well. So yet again, you could give that influencer a free PDF, and then for themselves maybe, and then they might be willing to promote your book as well. And then cross promotions. If you know somebody that you know, like, and trust, you can, trade, like, hey, you can give this to your audience, your email list for free, and I'll give your stuff, and that way we can cross promote. Don't think of it as competition, because sometimes your venue is just slightly different than their venue. So in the, coloring niche, right? Maybe you're working on stress coloring books, meditation type coloring books, and someone else is working on like sloths, right? Those two niches might really work together, in the sense people who like to color might like to color a sloth as much as they'd like to color a meditation type, stress relieving type coloring book. So those might not necessarily be competitors. So think of that. Create a blog, start a blog. Yes, yet again, this takes work, but it is definitely a valid method. And then you can use Pinterest to pin your books and pin your articles. And right there, you've got a decent start to a good advertising campaign between Pinterest and your blog and your books, right? Your own Facebook group. You could start your own Facebook group and create a whole niche market, right? So you can promote all you like to your own Facebook group. So remember always the adage too, if you're going to give a lot of free, you're going to promote to people, you want to give them lots of value, and then, slip in a promote. You don't just want to be promote, because people are going to delete you or not pay attention. They want some value to be advertised to. So you've got to give some value, and then you can kind of say, hey, this is my new book, pick it. Now, your own Facebook group too, you can get some avid fans. I know lots of fiction authors who have their own Facebook group where they don't put a whole lot out there, but they do set out and say, hey, here's when my new book is coming out. And people are really excited about that. So you don't have to be a super promote. You can just do it when you have something new that comes out in that niche that they might be interested in. But you've probably got to do a lot of good free and interesting value to create your own Facebook group. Okay. So those are my 10 free ways. Oh, I thought of Clubhouse too after I made this list, but I'm not on Clubhouse, so I don't know anything about Clubhouse because I do not have an iPhone. Sorry, I am an Android user. I don't have an iPhone, though I've gotten invited to Clubhouse several times. I can't do anything because I don't have an iPhone. But I know that could be a way if you start your own, talk about the niche, and you can, offer free good value, and then, promote something if they want more information. So all these ideas, it's kind of like you have to give some good value and then say, if you want more information, check out this. I did start a YouTube channel for one of my books, which was kind of funny. It's for my consulting business. I have a consulting business too. And so I promoted the YouTube channel just to promote the book, not actually my consulting service. But what actually happened is they found my consulting service through my YouTube channel and hired me as to consult for them. So like I got a consulting client when really I was trying to actually promote my book. But hey, you know, it worked. So I actually started my YouTube channel to do actually for a book, and I got a client out of it, and I probably got a few book sales too. It's just harder to tell those direct links to the books. All right. There we go. There was my top 10 ways. Were those good, helpful? What questions do you have? Let me stop sharing my screen if I can figure out how to do that. There we go. Stop sharing. Got it. Okay, I'm back. Questions, thoughts? Ooh, that was 20 minutes. That was long. Anyone? All right. So while I'm waiting, if there's any more questions, I'm going to go if you guys don't have any questions, but hopefully those were helpful. Don't forget to check out my website, publishwithashley.podia.com. I've got some cool links in my show notes. I've been trying to clean up and fix my YouTube channel so that it's a little bit cleaner, easier to read. That's something I tried to do last night. I'm trying to figure out how to make like cool little hearts and things to make it stand out better, but I couldn't figure that out last night. But subscribe to my YouTube channel, check out my webpage. Let me know what questions you have in the YouTube comments, on my Facebook group, wherever. I think that's kind of it. Any questions? No? You guys are pretty quiet, but that's okay. All right. Well, that is it for today. Hopefully this was helpful and give you some good ideas on things that you can do to market your products. I say market rather than advertise, because marketing is all about getting your product seen, right? You've got to get your product seen by eyes so that people know it's out there to purchase it. Do you think they all take a while to get to customers? Yes, it was helpful. Do you think they all take a while organically to get customers? Yeah, you can sell a book right away. Like it indexes usually within a few days, but it could be a week or two depending on how busy their platform is. So you'll get indexed by the Amazon algorithm, and so people could start picking it up pretty quickly. You do get a boost the first 30 days when a new book comes out. They'll try and promote it or push it sooner in the search results for the first 30 days when your book comes out, so that they can see if customers are really interested in it. But yes, sometimes it does take a while for a book to get going organically. So I have one book that I helped somebody make, and it wasn't selling. So I have it on my account and we share the profits, but it wasn't selling. It's been up for like 6 months now, and it wasn't selling. But lo and behold, this month it has already sold 7 copies, and it seems to start like selling about 1 a day or 1 every other day. And that's been 6 months. So you never know. And I think what really helped it was it got a few sales, and then it got a really good review. And I think that review is what boosted it in Amazon's algorithm's eyes, right? It made the algorithm say, hey, this got a really good review, even though it doesn't have very many sales. I did not ask for the review. No one asked for the review. It was just a review, right? From a person who purchased it. But it hadn't really got too many sales, and now it's starting to sell. So I do think, yeah, organically just does take time. Is it okay to create a mock-up book for you to promote? Yes, I use the mock-ups all the time. There is a free mock-up. I don't have it on me. After this, I will put it in the show notes. There's a free cover mock-up, and it's really good. And so you can use that to create a mock-up of your cover so it looks like a book rather than just like a flat screen. Tangent templates, if you have tangent templates, they also have a book mock-up book creator. Let's see. Is paid advertising a way to get? Oh, is a quicker way to get what your work? Yeah, paid advertising works great. It takes money instead of. It does take some time to learn and to get your books. Advertising is a great way to leverage your time. It does take money, obviously, to advertise, and it does take time to learn how to advertise. But once you learn how to advertise, and once you get better at the techniques, it is a fantastic way to boost your business. It's kind of like this learning curve where you go like this, and you sort of start to learn, and then it just takes off. So that's what kind of happened to me. I have a course, Amazon advertising, on my website, publishedwithashley.podia.com. Sorry, advertising for my advertising course. But I even show you how my advertising skills were kind of like this. And this was me doing it all myself. I have no idea what I was doing. I just was fiddling and creatively and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And then I just got better. Like, it just went from here to like here. And so that's kind of what I show you, all the things I learned as I went through in that course. But advertising is something that it does take time to learn. It does take money to actually do the ads, but it definitely can be a way to boost product sales and get even better organic sales, because if people are purchasing it off the ad, Amazon's algorithm again says, hey, I'm going to boost this organically for these search terms, because obviously it's converting to a sale, and that's what Amazon is interested in, converting to a sale. I want to promote through, okay, so is it better to share an Amazon link? I want to promote through Facebook. I was thinking of a mock-up. Okay, so the best link you can do is type in the search bar for the main keywords you want, like a long tail keyword, like coloring books for children 4 to 6. Okay, so if that was your book, coloring books for children's 4 to 6, and then find your book, and then click on your, keep searching through the tabs. If it comes up right away, great. But if it takes several tabs or quite a few tabs before you find your book, that's great. Find your book off that link and click it and open it and use the really long one. That's the best one to use, because what happens is when you promote that link on Facebook, that there's a reference and you'll see the keywords. So in the web link, it'll say reference equals, and then you'll see some of your keywords. So it would be, what I say, children's plus coloring plus book plus 4, right? So it has that kind of words in there. And it tells Amazon's algorithm that people it kind of boosts it, because it says that this is a valid link for that keyword. So that's the best link you can use, if that's helpful. The shortest link you can use is the one that if you go to your bookshelf and you say view on whatever website. So if you want to view it on the US, the UK. Now, if you're marketing it to people in the US, use the US link. If you're marketing people into the UK or Canada or whatever, use the appropriate link. Or the appropriate store, right? Do you recommend creating a Facebook page per niche, or does it work for you to create one page for all your books? Works better if you can niche down. It's one of the reasons in the beginning I started all over the place with low content books, to kind of decide what I liked and didn't like. I've kind of focused down into 2 main niches. So I have 2 brands. One is kind of, it's personal development-ish, we'll call it that. It's like journeys and spiritual and personal development kind of stuff. So that's one of my big niches. And then it's a brand, so I've created a whole brand around. And the other one is kind of in the outdoorsy type, being outside type niches. So I've kind of separated it into 2. And those are the ones I focus on now. I do have some random ideas that I throw out there and stuff, but I don't do any pins for it. I don't do Facebook or any of that for those sort of things, because those were just fun ideas. But if I'm trying to put something within my brand, then I start doing the Facebook and Pinterest and all that sort of stuff. So it works best if you're going to focus down into that target audience, right? You want your target audience to find you. So understand your target audience, understand what types of things they're interested in, and you could find out their cursory interests. So let's say you were doing books for single moms, okay? Single moms are probably also going to be interested in coloring books for kids, for toddlers, right? Because they're a single mom. So coloring book is, so you can mix niches as long as your target audience would still be interested in that niche. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's why I say understand who you're aiming your books at, because they have cursory interests that make total sense. The mom, single mom, is always going to have interest in kids coloring books, right? Because they're going to have kids. They're a single mom. Now, remember that would be for younger kids. If you're focusing on like, single moms with teens, then you maybe teen coloring books or something like that. But you've got to kind of understand your audience so that you can market correctly to them. Is it more effective to make Facebook or Amazon ads? I would say Amazon ads, but I do know a lot of fiction authors who have moved to Facebook ads because their niche is kind of saturated in the Amazon ad space. So they have moved from the AMS ads because they were working effectively, but now they're not because their particular niche is saturated. And so they're moving to Facebook ads and finding a much better success. So, you just got to, I would start with Amazon ads because they're easier. They're generally cheaper. And if you can't get those to get any traction, maybe move on to Facebook ads. Though, if you have a more expensive product, like if you have something you're selling for $29.99, and don't make fun of that. There are a lot of people who do low content books for $29.99 because they have a system, we'll say. That may be something that might work better on Facebook because you have a much higher price point, and so you have a lot more advertising dollars. There's a lot more profit in a $29.99 book. So with that profit, you can use that for more expensive advertising. So yet again, understand your audience, right? If you know your audience hangs out on Amazon and doesn't even look at Facebook, why are you advertising on Facebook? There's no reason to advertise on Facebook. If they're hanging out on Pinterest, that's where you should be advertising. So you want to advertise to your market, your target market, where they are, because that will be the most effective. So hopefully that's helpful. Anyone else? I can't stress enough the whole understand your target market. Everyone wants to jump steps. I wanted to jump steps. I wanted to go, just start and do stuff. And I did that for a while. And then I kind of found where I liked to do things and where I didn't like to do things. And so then I started focusing on, okay, these are the things I like to do. Now, what audience can I appeal to? And that's where I really started seeing success. So in the beginning, maybe you want to kind of do a bunch of stuff just to see what you like and what you're interested in and what makes you excited. If you don't want to do it in the morning, then don't do that niche, do something else. But I get up excited to build products for the niches I'm in, and I love to do it. So I focus 2 brands on those things because I think that now that I understand my audience, now that I've been trying to build the email list, trying to do all these things, I see it. I see how I should have started with my target audience in the beginning. So I'm kind of glad that I tried a bunch of things and found what my passion was. And then once I found my passion, I said, okay, now's the time to focus in and really do well. So that's what I started last year. If you guys watched the evolution of my YouTube channel, last year I started with building my brands, focusing on finding my target audience and finding out where they hang out. And I have seen a huge amount of success from that. So once you figure out your thing, I do suggest honing it down and figuring out who you're trying to sell to, because you are going to have such an easier time advertising to them if you know who they are and where they shop and where they look at stuff. Exactly. I need to feel more comfortable in my products that I'm creating before advertising. Yes. And that might be a true statement. You might want to dabble in Amazon ads a little bit, the AMS ads, because you can do those pretty cheaply. You might want to just try that. But if you're not quite feeling comfortable yet, maybe hold off on that. Once you're starting to make sales and make some money, it's worth giving Amazon ads a try. But do find out where you're comfortable and what you want to do. And then that's the time to spend. Then you can really dig in and start just building that audience. I mean, I get daily signups to my email list now. And I didn't have an email list before, but now I do. And I actually have on my to-do list for today or tomorrow is I have a new coloring book out for my audience. And so I'm going to give a few sample free pages and then say, hey, my new coloring book's out. Here's some free pages. I hope you enjoy them. And I hope if you're interested in buying my product on Amazon, here's the link, right? So that's one of my plans for today or tomorrow. So I have a little email list to hopefully boost my organic sales, right, to that product. But yeah, my list isn't huge by any means. I just started it, but it's got I think I'm to 50, 60 people right now. So, hey, that's more than I had a few weeks ago. So I'm excited. It builds slowly, and no one wants the slow build. Everyone wants immediate gratification. But if you want this to be a long-term business, there is no immediate gratification. It is about slowly creating and doing the right thing for you, your business, and the people you are marketing and selling to. Because if you're doing all those things, the right things, do the next right thing, right? You are going to succeed, because it eventually will all click. All that effort people will see that your effort is trying to be put in the right place. And you'll win out over all the people who are just trying to throw stuff out there and hope for success. I wonder if you create a page only to promote my book, what do my prospects may think if they go to my page and only have a book hanging out there? If you have to have a page to do ads on Facebook. And I don't know, how many people actually go to the page and just look at what's on the page? A lot of people who are being served ads just click on the ad and then follow the ad. So yeah, I agree. There are some people who actually go to the page and be like, oh, all they have is a book here. But you could just have some basic information on your page. Top 10 tips, right? You could do a top 10 tips for whatever that niche, or top funny jokes, or there's so many things you could put in there that would be valuable to your audience that are super, super easy, right? You could just kind of get that sort of stuff and put it up there on your page. And so it wouldn't be just lonely, right? You could have a few quick things to put on there. They may read that's funny, maybe some funny memes. Memes are super popular. So maybe you could find a few funny memes and share those onto your page so that they would have something humorous. So it doesn't take too long to fill out with just, 5, 6 little things that your audience might be of interest to them. And then that way, if you're worried about that, then at least they'll have a funny meme to read. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would honestly just find a few things and throw it on there that I thought my audience would be interested in. But it wouldn't have to be, and it could get better, right? As you have time, you can add to it. But you could just start with 5 funny memes, or a top 10 list and 2 memes and a great quote, something like that, right? It doesn't have to be Shakespeare. Any other questions? Oh, you guys are great. I'm so glad you guys are asking so many questions. I have done a lot of advertising, paid, non-paid, and I have spent a lot of money that I shouldn't have, and I've done really well too. So, but I have found that kind of slowly doing all the right things, eventually it's like a snowball. It just builds and builds and builds, and eventually you have a giant snowball. It just takes time to do that. All right, if you guys are good, that's all I have. And if there's no other questions, I will see you in my next live on Wednesday. I've been trying to add more than one video a week to my YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe and like the channel so that you can get those new videos. I'm going to probably add another cover video. I was thinking about doing layers. Have you guys tested layers yet and done cover layers? So I was fiddling and doing some really fun stuff with a books I made 2 days ago. So I thought I might show you guys how to do that, which kind of adds some texture and interest to your books. And then I don't know what else I'm going to do. I have something on my list. I think there was someone asked more about Pinterest. So I thought about putting another Pinterest video up there. All right, that's it. And I will see you all next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.